Hello, this is the One Episode Rule, a podcast about first impressions. I am Magpie, and listen. I've heard the concerns. I've heard about the sleep paralysis and the missing time. And listen, it's all cool. It's all cool. It's all cool. It's a prank. It's just a prank. Don't worry about it. We just got to finish this last film and it'll be fine. And nothing weird will happen afterwards.
Sure. Yep, it's gonna be normal.
Anyway, introduce yourselves.
I'm Blackle, and my sleep paralysis demon is too hot and it makes me uncomfortable.
Can't help you. Not really within the purview of the experiment.
I'm Joey, and my sleep paralysis is too small. I can never see them. They're always on the floor and crawling around.
But
I know they're
there.
Little worm.
Ladies and gentlemen, the tomb is empty. The sleep paralysis demon is not in there either. I lost track of it.
You're always stuck in that damn time loop.
My sleep paralysis demon is literally Jesus Christ.
Yeah, mine too.
He's crouching on your chest.
My sleep paralysis demon is that grandma who thought that the painting of Obi-Wan Kenobi was Jesus.
Oh my god.
Hi,
okay.
I'm Emma. I'm back for one last ride, like Carter Slade.
My sleep paralysis demon is that grandma who repainted the Renaissance painting of Jesus to look like an ape.
Oh no.
Oh fuck.
Yeah, that's the one. Yep.
Wait, can I change mine?
Yeah.
My sleep paralysis
Too
demon
late.
is that grandpa that ate the paint because he thought it was yogurt.
All right. You guys want some news?
Yeah, let's talk about anime.
So yeah, in the spirit of the season, I thought I would bring you some spooky news about Attack on Titan merchandise.
Oh fuck.
God.
But not just
no.
any Attack on Titan merchandise, because now available are plastic model kits in 4 different sets of the Attack on Titan Titans and characters as stag beetles.
Oh.
What the hell?
Huh. Oh fuck.
Oh, I hate them. They're really bad to look at.
Why?
Jesus Christ.
You know, I heard that American kids have these things fight each other.
Completely fucking inexplicable.
Jesus Christ.
I feel like you could add
breasts?
this
What
to a
is that?
quiz. I think you could add this to a quiz of like which of these things are Neon Genesis or Attack on Titan like merchandise, and it'd be
Oh my
like
God.
I don't know, like
Well, this is the only weird AOT merchandise I've ever seen.
yeah.
Although they have had weird tie-ins where they'll be like in PUBG and stuff.
You know,
And
I
Dead
feel
by
like
Daylight.
a Neon Genesis Scarab Beetle crossover makes more sense.
Yeah, it definitely does.
Yeah, I think so.
Yes.
These are
They
like
already have exoskeletons.
these are like uncomfortably fleshy too. Like you
Yeah.
don't expect a big beetle to be skin colored.
That's
No.
a meat
No.
beetle right there.
Why did they do this?
I don't know.
Like, why did they do this? It's like when people paint their
Because they-
horses.
Because they hate everyone.
Then they hate horses.
They want everyone to suffer.
But in good news,
right.
turns out that since One Piece is going to celebrate its 25th anniversary in 2024, they've just decided to air all of it on YouTube.
What?
Yeah.
Woohoo!
Yeah,
That's
They were
crazy.
like, well, we can just go ahead and put all of this up because no one's going to have time to finish it.
this is called the Anytime One Piece campaign, where the official One Piece YouTube channel will broadcast the anime from the first episode starting October 29th in Japan.
Okay.
Presumably, it will also be available
Interesting.
elsewhere.
I see.
Pretty strange. Pretty strange. I don't know what I'm saying. I'm very tired.
Pretty strange.
They could air approximately like 4 episodes a day and still not get through all of it in a year.
Do you think it's gonna be like? Do you think it's gonna be one of those scary, like 24-hour YouTube streams that you see sometimes? And you like
That's
click on
literally
it,
what
and
I'm
it's like
saying.
fucking boomerang for no reason. Like,
24-hour stream of CERN as they start up and destroy the world.
Yeah, you're just gonna zip in there and disappear into One Piece land for 24
Into One-
hours.
You just turn on this stream
I will
and you
find
sit by your
Zoro.
computer. No, but no. Here's what happens. You turn on this and it traps you, and you're not allowed to leave your computer until all of it's done.
Until
And
it's
that's
done.
so much One Piece.
And then when it's over, the camera cuts back to you, and you're just bones.
You're a skeleton, yeah.
I think I might be wrong, but I think this is the plot of Sword Art Online.
Kept in place by
That's
severe
true.
technological butthole suction.
Oh,
Okay.
Wow.
Anyhow.
phrases that we will not be examining. So yeah, you guys, since this is pretty much the last episode we're going to put out before the end of October, because of the way scheduling works, I figured I would set us up with a movie film to watch, something
Yes.
special.
Yes.
Do you guys want to know what it is?
Yes.
I do, and I
So
want
bad.
a little treat.
All
Can I have
right.
a treat?
Yeah. We'll get you a treat. But we'll get you a Blackle Snackle. But yeah. Anyway, we're gonna be watching Blood: The Last Vampire.
Oh shit!
Oh my.
Oh shit. All right.
Fuck yeah!
I don't know when I saw this movie.
Oh, you've
that
seen this.
was
Oh shit!
spooky.
I want to watch your blood.
All right.
So
Okay.
you can just cut one of those and use that, and then we'll do the rest of the episode. Okay?
Okay.
Okay.
All right.
No,
So
this works.
so yeah, I'm serious. I don't remember the first time I saw this movie. I feel like I saw it on television somewhere.
You know,
Can I-
Probably
maybe.
Adult Swim.
Can I tell
Probably.
you what I was experiencing the whole time?
Hmm.
I have not seen this movie. I have seen Blood Plus.
Uh-huh.
That's what I was
Which-
about to say.
Yeah, which was an anime inspired by this
And
film.
that has almost nothing to do with.
Yeah, yeah, it's weird. It's
I
a
think
lot
it has,
different.
like, a character, like the main
It-
character name in common, and that's pretty
Mhm.
much it as far as
Yeah.
I'm aware.
The main character's name is Saya.
Mhm.
The vampires are called Chiropterans,
Sure.
and someone has a katana at some point, and that's about all that's similar.
There's another different one called Blood Sea.
Blood Sea. Yeah, I
But,
only know all of this because I looked at the My Anime listing and I was like, this was a film, and then I looked and I saw Blood Plus and I was like, oh, I've heard of that one. Yeah,
So,
that was my
I've-
experience.
I fucked with Blood Plus extremely when it was airing on Adult Swim. It was really cool.
Mhm. In fact, I didn't even bother to get a blurb because I just forgot
Oh,
that
shit.
you get blurb.
I think the blurb is holding us back, honestly.
You think so?
I think I would be very happy if we retired blurbs as a concept.
Wow.
Blackle, you've come out very strongly against the concept of blurbs, and it only seems to have
The
happened
blurb is not helpful.
once I started making you read them.
Which was essentially in like the third
No.
episode of our podcast. So
We
in
like
all ways.
listen. We've forgotten to do the blurb like 3 times already, and each episode has been great. So take that.
I call that correlation and not causation.
No, pish posh.
But anyway, we should be able to get through the synopsis for this pretty quickly, given that
Okay.
the dialogue for this movie would fit on 2.5 pages.
Yes, it's a very
yes.
quiet
Yeah.
film.
So we open on the subway on a nearly empty train late at night. Incidentally, in the fucking train station from Silent Hill 3, I swear to God,
I think you
Uh,
might be right.
it looks exactly like it, but they don't dwell on it. But yeah, there is a young the only people in this train car are a young woman and a seemingly sleeping salaryman at the other end. And the train is chugging along. The young woman eyes the man coldly, and while he does seem to be asleep, we zoom in on him, and he peeks one eye open slyly. But he's very surprised that whenever the lights go out for a second, she leaps to her feet and charges him with a katana.
Yeah, he doesn't make it.
He turns to escape through the door between cars, but she just slices him all the way down the back, and he slides down. And when we come back, the next scene is the train car is lit up again, and she's wiped the blood off the window. It arrives in the station, and a number of various business people and such get off the train, and two visually identifiable Americans come in.
Yes.
And this is
So
an
true.
interesting. This is an interesting theme of this movie, but
Yes.
but yeah, they come in. Well, one of them is black for one thing, but but yeah, a tall guy and a black guy come in, and I forget what his partner's name is. He doesn't come up that much not because he is
He's kind
not
of
because
just only in the first scene.
yeah, it's not because he's black, but because he's a little stupid. But,
I believe their names are David and Lewis.
maybe it might be Lewis,
That sounds
but
right.
but yeah, the young woman comes out, and David calls out to her, is just like, "Hey, Saya," and they're just like, "Okay, so where's the chiropter?" And she's like, "He's inside." And we have to stop for a moment because I want to know what everybody's idea of the dub for this was, because this was primarily filmed in English.
Yeah, I thought this was fascinating because it's like it kind of the experience of watching it felt like watching both a sub and a dub at the same time because
The Japanese
Mhm.
dialogue is subbed.
You guys, I believe this is the original production.
Mhm.
I think that the
Yeah, I
film
can believe
is
it.
produced both in this is how it's meant to be watched, part in English
Yes.
and part in Japanese.
Yes, I
Um,
think that this is. I think it's fascinating.
Kind of like a Snowpiercer situation.
It was really cool. Yeah, I thought it was. I think that how do I say this? I think it was clearly directed by someone who spoke Japanese.
Mhm.
Particularly the voice direction. I think kind of some of the English people sounded pretty good. Fucking Steve Bloom was in this. Did you guys notice
yes,
that?
I did catch that. Yeah.
It was like, what the? I was like, what the hell is he doing here? All these other fucking nobodies, and then Steve Bloom is like
Steve
some
Bloom.
fuck off character.
He was like a
Um,
security guard. He got punched
yeah.
in the nuts or
You
something.
can smell it on the wind. You can smell that a dump was
Yeah,
happening.
exactly. But there were some of the people who were speaking English where it was like, it kind of felt like those last episodes of Squid Games when the fucking when those fucking people show up, and it's like, damn, these guys really are not good.
It felt so much of the dialogue felt so stilted to me.
Yes,
It had a
there-
like
Yeah.
bizarre,
Occasionally.
almost like, I want to associate it with Silent Hill 2, but I don't think they did it on purpose. I feel like this might be a case of a voice director asking for multiple takes from people who speak English and picking the one that they think sounds the coolest,
Yeah, probably.
which was a problem they used to have a lot.
I think you picking out Silent Hill specifically, like, that is so the vibe. That was exactly
really is.
specifically the scene, which we'll get to it, but the scene where the nurse is walking with the guy from the military base and he's talking to her.
Oh my god!
Like,
yeah.
everything he said, I was like, Jesus Christ, it's like Silent Hill in here.
Sometimes
So-
kids play
That's
pranks.
Silent Hill stick.
Sometimes kids play pranks, you know. So yeah. they have a little discussion, and Lewis goes into the train to look onto the guy, and it just looks like a human corpse in there, and he freaks out about it. But David simply does not care, and he's trying to he's discussing with Saya, who's just like, "Hey, I need a new sword. This one isn't coming out of the sheath the way it's supposed to. Like, it's getting old and dull. Get me a new one." And he's just like, "We don't have time to get you a new one. We just spotted another one." It's just like, I'm gonna get you enrolled at the high school at the fucking Yokota Air Base in Yokohama. Which this is such an interesting setting for an anime anything, is
Yes.
the American Air Force Base in Yokohama in 1966.
Yes.
Yeah.
During the Vietnam War.
Yes.
What a choice.
Fascinating.
Weirdly, they made a live action remake of this movie in 2009. And they changed a couple of things, but the weirdest thing is they changed it to 1970, and I don't know why.
Huh.
Yeah, that doesn't work
Weird choice.
as well, I think.
Yeah,
I don't know.
but anyway, as they're discussing this, Lewis comes back. It's just like, that's just a dead guy. Like, did we get this wrong? He's like, "Hey, did you just murder a guy?" And Saya's had enough of it, and she just turns around and lifts him by his mouth.
Yeah, it's kind of fucked up.
It's just like, I've had enough of this shit. And they have a weird couple of lines of dialogue here that are just weirdly unexplained, and I think bits of the movie got cut out, giving her slightly more characterization. Because David's just like, "Really, I don't know anything. Come on." And it's just like, what do you what do you mean? Yeah, she storms off, and he's just like, "Oh shit! Oh, she threw away the dossier. I gotta get out of the trash can." Oh fuck! Oh man, David's really put upon for being a huge dude.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Lewis comes up behind him and is just like, "Wow, what a bitch! What was that about?" And he just fucking decks him. He's just like, "You asshole!"
Don't you make her mad?
Yeah, the line,
Don't-
"Stop making her mad." It's so fucking funny.
just like stop pissing her off. She's as far as we know, she's the only original that's left. And I'm just like, oh shit.
Yeah,
Which, it's just so funny because the thing that Lewis did to piss her off was say, "Hey, I think that was a guy."
I think that was just
killed
a
a human being.
I think
Did
you
you
killed
just
a
kill
normal
a regular
human.
human man? But yeah. So after this, we cut to what is that? Is it the scene where she's walking around Yokohama at night?
Yeah, because she walks by an antique shop and she's eyeing these antique swords that say "not for
Yeah,
sale."
and she hasn't got her uniform yet.
She's just
but
kind of wandering.
But yeah, she's wandering around Yokohama at night. And she passes through an antique shop, and there is a set of swords there that says "not for sale," and she looks in on them. And this is also the time where we cut away from them for a little while to a suicide. Because some lady has apparently cut her wrist in the bath. And the police are cleaning up, and we cut across to what I can only describe as a horror meeting.
Yep.
Which is what it is. But they're discussing the gossip, and it's just like, hey, did you hear about Miki? It's just like, yeah, that's terrible. It's just it's like, wasn't she working on the base a whole bunch? It's just like, yeah. Or didn't she have a boyfriend on the base? And she's like, yeah, she did. And she's like, well, it's just the kind. Maybe she caught the clap, and that's why she did it. And she's like, you can't get too upset about that sort of thing. It's the price of business for doing working on the base.
Yeah.
It's just like, oh shit, there's a couple of characters here, and one of them is like an obsquicious little concierge guy who looks like he works at either a brothel or a hose club or something.
Hmm.
There's two other characters. There's a we will call them tall prostitute, short prostitute, and there is somebody who later turns out to be a bar owner. She owns a bar, and that's interesting for reasons we'll get into later. Because there's a lot of interesting about the behavior of some things in this movie.
Hmm.
Uh-huh.
But yeah, we got to cut away from that because we've been filled in on the plot. And also, I don't know where this turns up, but two of the government guys are talking about this case basically. It's just like, yeah, we think there's two of them here, and another one of those fake bodies turned up, and I'm just like,
The fake
what?
bodies.
What do you mean? What the fuck do you mean?
They do not explain that line
It's-
at all ever.
It's so tantalizing.
There's
Fake bodies.
there are so many parts of this movie where I was thinking, like, can you talk a little more about that, please? Like, that
Please.
sounds really cool.
Can
This
you
is
talk
so
about it
fucking
at all?
mysterious.
Did they by the fake bodies, do they mean the person that killed themselves?
Yeah, I have to
have to
assume it's
assume
that
that's-
person, which
Right.
which makes me think that like the Chiropterans like can like after they've eaten somebody can fucking leave fake evidence behind,
Yeah,
Oh,
that's what I'm
shit.
which is
thinking.
crazy.
Yeah.
But anyway, we cut in on I think this is Saya walking around the school. She's come to school,
Yes.
and she's clearly uncomfortable because she's dressed in a sailor suit. Like an old school sailor suit too, like
Mhm.
one that you would see in like a
Mhm.
Sukaban movie.
Yeah.
but yeah, she's walking through, and it's Halloween because this is primarily a high school for American kids.
Yes.
This is
Yeah.
little. I believe the director
Mhm.
said he wanted to set it in Little California in Japan.
Yes.
So yeah, they're carving jack-o'-lanterns and shit, and they're they're getting stuff ready for a Halloween party. And she runs into a character we will see again, who is the school nurse, whose name I can't exactly remember. Amino Mahiko, I think is her
Yeah.
name.
Yeah, that sounds right.
Makiho, maybe?
Makiho. Yeah,
I
we'll
think
call
so,
her.
yeah.
We'll call her.
We can just say
Mako.
the nurse.
We'll call her Mako. Yeah, who's there's a lot of like I love the variety of character design in this movie.
Yes.
Yes.
Because Mahiko's like kind of chubby, and you don't see that in anime.
She's cute.
No.
um,
Yeah.
Good for her.
and she's a little school nurse, and she sees Saya go by, and she's just like, "Wait, Japanese kid, what?"
Mhm.
And she's just like, "Hey, do you go here?"
Yeah.
and this is the best characterization of Saya, in that she just refuses to speak to people like they're beneath her.
Yeah, she does not care about this interaction. She's just gonna go. And-
She's
and-
just like,
and-
have you been through the principal's office? And she walks off, and she's like, "Hey, Choto, a minute, come on. Hey, I'm an adult. You have to listen to me."
Yeah, no, I
Um,
like that the nurse, when she talks with like in English, like this is very clearly someone that is English as a second language, like
Yeah,
a
yeah.
very thick accent.
Because she's
She is
a
Japanese.
Japanese
yes.
person working on Yokota Air Force Base. But she's just finally Saya is just like, where is the principal's office? And they go there, and she opens the door and she's like, "Principal, this student was looking to meet you." And David is there, and it's just like, "Saya, you're late,"
Yeah.
and it just like stuns the poor nurse into silence.
This
Yeah.
poor nurse.
And
Given this whole movie.
the principal is a cool guy, but he's just like
His fucking
just-
hair.
his hair. He's got like
Can't.
wild hair. He
He looks like
a
a
little bit,
JoJo's character.
but
The stand user could be anyone.
but he's just like, yeah, she's gonna be here what is the deal they work out? I don't even remember. It's just like she's gonna take part in classes for a few days, and it's like, what does
Yeah.
that even mean, dude?
Who
And it's,
knows?
what it means is that the government man said this was going to happen, and it's not my business to question.
Yeah.
So yeah, and she walks out with David, and I can't even remember what they're talking about other than that. She's just like, "Hey, did you give me that sword yet?" And he's just like, "Yeah, I know. I'm sorry. It's taking a minute." Um, and also, what the hell is this uniform? He's just like, I don't know. I heard it was a Japanese school uniform. Um, So yeah, that's how it's going. Oh, and they have a conversation. The principal and the nurse have a conversation about. It's just like, hey, they lost. They lost the. I don't know if the student body is ready for this Halloween party. Like it's kind of macabre, and they lost their friend recently. Like, oh, they lost their friend recently, did they?
Oh.
And he's just like,
Oh.
come on, that's a bunch of bullshit. That's why we're having this party to get their spirits up. Now get the hell out of my office.
Yeah.
He's like weirdly aggressive about this, which leads me to either believe that he's like on a short
Yeah.
fuse or this has come up way too much. She will not shut the fuck up about this. But we're gonna have the damn Halloween party. So yeah. Is it one of the few classroom scenes after that? It is. It is. No, wait. She because she's got to have a wander around first.
A little bit.
So after hours, we see Saya basically just checking out the place. Basically, because I assume this is how it goes every time she has to hunt one of these things down. But yeah, she's sort of prowling around the school. We get a lot of. It's hard to describe, but this movie is like gorgeous.
It's good to look at.
And we get a lot of nice like mise en scène. A lot of like all the text is in English, which isn't nice, but there's a lot of Halloween
montage moments.
Yeah, a lot of Halloween decorations up and stuff. But eventually, she finds her way to the nurse's office, and she's just standing there for a moment, and like the with the light streaming in and the diaphanous curtains blowing, which like who keeps their windows open that often?
It felt like I was watching The Girl Who Left Her Time.
But she's standing there, and then she just reaches. She's like she just like, and she reaches down to touch the space between two tiles. And I'm just like, oh yeah, it is discolored there, and we get a little flashback to just blood falling there. And she goes, this must be their dining room.
She's like, oh.
Their feeding area. Oh, this must be where they eat. Oh.
We have another interaction between her and the poor school nurse.
Yeah, she turns to the nurse again.
Yeah, she jumps into the nurse because she hears footsteps coming towards her, and she almost pulls her sword out, which is, hey, you should never pull your sword out in public unless you really need to. But yeah, she ends up actually jump scaring the nurse. It's just like, whoa, hey, oh, and she drops a bunch of the stuff. She's like, what are you doing here? And it's just like, nothing. I thought I had a headache, but it's gone now. And she's just like, and as soon as she stands up, she's just like, hey, wait a second, and she's just gone already.
Yeah.
So I think she does wherever she's staying. I don't know where. We know so little about what Saya does whenever she's not doing violence or preparing to do violence. But she does walk past the antique store again because she's looking at the swords, and the guy inside is just like, huh? And she's gone. After that is the classroom scene, yeah. Because this movie cooks along pretty fast.
Yes.
So yeah, we cut into there, and the teacher. I like this teacher. He's got like a smashed in face, but he's quite charming. And he's he's talking about the Halloween party and how all that's going to go on, and we cut to Saya sitting in the back by the window, like every anime protagonist, but she's sitting next to a girl who's just like, hey, 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 hey,
She's so obnoxious.
are you Japanese? Konnichiwa.
God.
And Saya's just like, leave me alone.
Yeah.
She's like, oh God, weirdo.
She's like, let's go, Linda.
Let's go, Linda.
Her and Linda just leave.
Let's see. There's let's see. There's some more interstitial scenes in here because we actually do have to go back to class at one point for things to make sense.
Mm-hmm.
And honestly, I think it's not even substantive. Other than they may have put that scene in where they were talking about the fake bodies in there somewhere. But yeah, we have to go back to class because the next important scene happens there. And it's the teacher he's talking about. It's just like, okay, we're only having class is almost over. Whoever's involved with the thing, can you go to the gym? And then everybody enjoy the Halloween party. And he lets them all out, except for Linda, who approached him and is just like, hey, Linda's not feeling very well. I thought I'd take her to the nurse. And he's just like, oh, okay. You don't need me for that, do you? He's just like, no. And he's just like, okay, you girls be careful and enjoy the party later. And she takes Linda out of there. And as they're walking to the nurse, she's like, don't worry, it won't be long now.
Uh-oh.
She has she has
she's got anemia.
Linda has anemia.
But yeah, they go
Yeah.
and they go to the nurse's office and Linda lies down in bed and the nurse carves lights a pumpkin for her and just sets it in front of her, which is like something that would actually happen, but is baffling at the same time.
So funny.
It's gonna lift her spirits a little bit.
It's just like, what do I do to you jack-o'-lantern?
You want a jack-o'-lantern?
You want a little jack-o'-lantern? And she
She's
sets
like
it
making
there.
small talk about how it's not very fun to be sick on Halloween.
Yeah, it sucks to be
Yeah.
sick on Halloween. And she turns her back to them to rifle through the medicine cabinet, looking for, I assume, some sort of iron supplement or something. Yeah.
Morphine.
I don't know. It's 1966. Maybe it's morphine, but as she does, the actually creepiest scene in this film takes place because Sharon and Linda begin just speaking to each other completely inaudibly under their breath, and you can only tell because they're moving their lips.
Yeah, you can't hear, like, you can't even tell what they're saying.
Yeah.
Mhm.
That makes
That was so
a lot
creepy.
more sense.
What?
The track was wrong.
I thought they were just so hungry.
They were just so hungry.
I genuinely thought like she was turned around and both of the vampires were like,
Yeah, I
Oh my
suppose,
God.
but I
I mean,
always
they could've been
interpreted it
doing that,
as
who
them
knows?
speaking subsonically.
They're
No.
telling each other we're
Magpie-
about to attack.
that makes 5 fucking million times more sense than the thing that I thought.
Linda Hungy.
Sure could go for a nurse right now.
So yeah, and
Hey, nurse.
Eh.
That's just a little
And then
joke
they
that we like to tell.
and then they
amongst
decide
our
to kill her.
brethren.
Because yeah, and Linda just sort of
Yeah.
like rises up from the bed, which is always creepy. But yeah, they don't get the opportunity because I just bursts in, and this is filmed in animated in a great way. There's almost a little bit of like over the shoulder cam.
Yes. over
where
the
she
nurse's
just
shoulder.
bursts, she just
Mhm.
bursts in and fucking slices her up the front. They're just blood and screaming, and the nurse freaks her shit out.
Like,
And
yeah.
because she just thinks she's witnessed a murder. And Sharon comes at her, and she
Mhm.
just like, and she slices her into her shoulder
She
with it,
does
and
not kill her.
she
Yes.
does not kill her, and she breaks the sword, which is the
Yeah.
issue.
Well, because Sharon throws like a
Mhm.
cabinet at her. Is
Yeah,
what I
yeah.
remember.
And the whole time the nurse is screaming, and she's just like, "Shut up!" uh,
God, the way that like
oh
screaming
yeah,
faces
they're
are
like
animated
really
in
scream.
this.
So
It's-
intense.
It's visceral. There are
Um,
some things in this. Holy shit!
Yeah, no, I think that's the scene where
I just
That's
shared a
that's
picture of one, a
that's a
screenshot I
great
took
reaction
of
image.
her screaming.
There's
But,
a lot
It is.
of I don't know. There's a lot of this movie that's really fucking intense to look at.
yeah, really truly.
But yeah, Saya like
Mhm. And then what's her name? The
the evil
Sharon?
creature. Yeah,
Sharon.
Sharon.
Sharon. Sharon?
Oh yeah, she
Screams
just like
so loud.
shatters all the glass in the
Shatters
room and
glass,
shit.
yes.
And then she books it, and Saya goes after him
Mhm.
after gingerly picking up the like broken part of the blade. And also she's just like, "Hey, whatever you saw, you fucking didn't," and leaves.
She literally
Literally.
said something like that, yeah.
And then we go to we're gonna hang out with the nurse for a while because she's just like, this didn't happen. Linda's just asleep, right? And she looks over and sees that like Linda's like hands are like gnarled claws, and her face is just this horse bat mask monstrosity. And
Yes,
she's
she
like,
has-
It's pretty
"Whoa."
hard.
She has transformed.
Uh,
But she is dead. She is very dead.
which leads to a very interesting question, because she fell back into her like native form really quickly
Mhm.
compared to the guy on the train.
Right.
Yep.
But
Yeah, that he was
she was-
just some
just
guy
wanted to kill
for
that guy.
real.
He might
Yeah,
have
he was
just
just-
been some guy
he
for
was just
real.
an ass. He was just a train pervert. But anyway, but yeah, she makes the very interesting decision to follow the blood leading out of the room.
Yeah, I don't understand this thought process. I don't. 'Cause she's like,
There's also been some great cuts because they're having the Halloween party, right? And it's a Halloween party in the 60s on an American Air Force base. So they got some of their dads, I guess, the Air Force band to
Yeah.
play the Halloween party for them. So they're playing jazz
yeah,
during
really.
some of
Yeah.
these fight scenes, and
Mhm.
it's really good.
It's very good.
Yeah. I think the reason why the nurse is doing that is because she like it's just one of those things where it's like you
Yeah,
see something
and
horrible,
it's
you don't
just-
even
and
know what
she's
to
a
do with
nurse.
yourself. It's like I'm gonna check in
Yeah,
on
she's a nurse
that
too,
girl who
because she's
almost
just
died.
like, it's still Sharon to her. So
Sure.
she's just like,
Right.
oh God, I gotta find her.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I guess I get that. Yeah.
Uh-huh.
But
Exactly.
But yeah, so she follows the blood trail, and we go a couple of places now. Saya leaves. She just fucking books it off the base and like over a fence and shit.
Yeah.
And we follow the nurse for a while, and we go on a great sequence of her just following the fucking blood droplets closer and closer to like the actual party, which gets like more and more. This movie has like a dreamlike quality to it in places.
Yes.
I strongly
scene-
agree.
Is so
Mhm.
creepy.
Especially in this scene. But yeah, she gets deep in there, and then one of her fellow teachers like jump scares her because he's dressed like Dracula.
Yeah. It's
And
funny.
he's just like, ah! He like puts way too much into it for like a casual Halloween party.
Yeah,
You're,
he's
like,
like
really
screaming for way longer than he needs to be.
And the nurse
then-
doesn't even actually flinch at this. She's just like,
She's just
"Yes,
like-
Karen."
And he's just like, oh no, I don't know where she is. And
I don't know where
yeah,
she
she
is.
follows her deep into where the kids are like dancing. And Sharon has torn down a big one of those big banners that you see in high schools, that it's just like listing their
Halloween.
football wins or whatever.
Yeah,
Go
exactly.
Beavs.
Go Beavs. And wrapped herself in it. And yeah, the scene where the reveal here is that the nurse is the only one prepared to see what's actually under that wrapping, because everybody else would think it was some sort of fucked up Halloween costume.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, she like sees the whole monster, and she's about to scream, and Saya comes back into frame and just whacks her with the sword from the antiques shop, because there was a scene there where she just broke in and stole it.
Stole the swords that she had been eyeing. Yeah.
And yeah, she comes in with a dynamic entry and just smashes the sword into her, and it just goes, and she's just like, it's a fake.
They were fake swords, which is so
Damn.
funny.
Damn.
I loved that plot twist.
Yeah, they weren't for
They weren't
sale.
even
It's
for
just like,
sale, too.
fucking tourist shit.
So funny.
And anyway, the
Mhm.
Chiropteran, because that's their name, they don't go into any great detail about what they are, but they are Chiropterans. They say it.
Yes.
Which for the viewer are basically these like elongated bat monsters. So we're not talking like Bela Lugosi, and we're not talking Twilight. We're talking like
Fucked up bat vampire monsters, yes.
I'm gonna be real. The closest thing you're gonna get in popular media is the fucking Red Court vampires from the Dresden Files.
Oh shit,
Um,
yeah. That's true. Actually, yeah.
But yeah, it snags Makiho, the nurse, and takes her outside, because presumably she's gonna be in need of a snack.
Mhm.
But yeah, she gets her outside, and then she just gets fucking shanked by Saya. Just stabs her with the fake sword. She's like half swording, and she's just like, "Ugh!
Yeah.
Get it, bitch!" Ugh!
Brr.
And it's clearly not enough. But but she does pull the nurse away from him, and she's like, "Run!
Yeah.
God damn!" And run she does. All the way around a couple of buildings. She seems to be going aimlessly, but she comes around the corner and runs full into a serviceman's chest.
Oh,
And he's
yes.
just a tall black guy, and she just screams so loud for like a full 20 seconds, and he's just staring at her like, hey, you okay, lady?
So this is another moment that I question our nurse's decisions, because she's just like, a student turned into a monster and attacked me. Because of course it's Halloween. Why don't you just say someone has a weapon over here? Please
Yeah,
come with
someone's
me at
been
the very
hurt.
least. Yeah,
Someone is
something like
attacking
that.
someone. But yeah, and she just physically pulls this guy along, where he's just like, "Oh, come on, lady, you don't need to take this so seriously. When we were teenagers, we used to do all kinds of pranks like this, teachers we didn't like. But I don't know why anybody do it to somebody so pretty like you." And it's just like, "Come on, man, is this the time for Riz?" It's the middle of the fucking night on Halloween, man.
Well, he thinks that this is not a situation at all, so I kind of
Maybe
get it. But
maybe it
also,
is the time for Riz for him. He's just like. Anyway, he's just like, "You're a pretty
Always
lady. I don't know
Riz
why
time.
they do this to you." Because yeah,
Literally.
he
because
gets
they
yoinked.
just yeah, she just
And then
yoinks him
she is just,
into the tree, and it's not like a stealth kill like you see now in like
Oh, it's
anime and
so
video games.
crunchy.
It's like she's like crunching him, and he is very alive, and he's like grabbing at his service pistol, but he can't get it.
Oh, it's
It's really
so
nasty.
fucking. It's so like meaty and slow and like messy. It's like that shit. That was fucked up.
Yeah, I
Her
felt really
munchies.
bad for this guy. I was like, oh my god,
Mhm.
But
and all,
He got straight like butchered.
Mhm.
But she
No.
doesn't.
Not healthy.
And it's
That
really,
wasn't healthy.
it's just really unfortunate because this man is very dead by the end of this.
Oh yes.
But
He doesn't
Yeah, he
make it.
didn't. He straight up did not make it.
but the Chiropteran doesn't get to eat because Saya just fucking yeets the broken hilt of the sword at it,
Yeah.
and wounds it. And then her and the nurse, she's just like dragging the nurse along. It's like, clearly I can't trust you to run on your own.
Yeah.
So they're just booking it, and then they get stopped because they're running around a fucking U.S. Air Force base in the middle of the Vietnam War, and the guy's just like,
Jesus.
and there's a guard who's just like, "What the hell are you doing?" It's just like this
Wait,
area
what
is
is
very
happening here?
restricted. Which it's, by the way, it's not. It's the motor pool, dude. But
Yeah, and I believe is this
This
Steve
is Steve
Bloom?
Bloom. Yes,
Yeah.
this is him.
yeah, it's no, my man. It's no more
Very
restricted than
noticeably.
anywhere else on the base.
Yeah.
You ain't keeping the bombs here, so nobody
Mhm.
cares.
Man, we are both children of Starlight, and we are going in our own paths.
But the nurse is just like, please help somebody. We've been attacked. And he's just like, wait, what? Come here. Wait a second. What are we talking about? And it's just like, hey, girl, what happened to you? Are you bleeding? What is that? What's going on? And and the whole time Saya is silently walking up to him.
Mhm.
And he's like, I gotta
Punches
take
him
real
so
slow.
hard.
yeah, I gotta radio this in. Hang on a second. And she just folds him like a chair. And the nurse is just like, what did you do to him? And
I
she
think
doesn't even
that's when
answer.
she makes this face that Blackle posted. I
Yeah.
think that's when she does that.
Yeah, it was then.
And Saya's just like, get inside. And they go inside the motor pool and they're just digging around. And she gives him she turns around and gives the nurse the guy's service pistol. And she's just like, what do I do with this? And she's just like, you might need that.
She's like, it won't kill those things, but it might slow them, and maybe you'll want to die yourself instead.
Yeah, well, that's later whenever she just says, yeah, you'll probably want it to kill yourself. It's the last resort.
Yeah.
God.
You saw what happened to that guy.
We get a little. The nurse at least gets a little explanation here because she's like, "What are those things?" It's like they're demons. They drink blood.
Yeah, that's
Anybody
about
who's
all we
seen
get.
it, they won't let anybody who's seen them live, so we have to kill them before they kill us.
Yeah.
And then she
I
starts
kind of-
looking for blades and shit because she needs a new weapon.
I kind of appreciate how little exposition there is in this movie because, like, on the one hand, I kept wanting to learn more, but on the other hand, it was just really neat. Like, it was really smooth. Like, there were no like times when it like stopped and someone barreled down the camera and described the plot. Like, it was just sort of like, yeah, this is called Blood the Last Vampire. You know what these things are. Let's get to killing.
Now,
You're
let's
not
get
stupid. Let's go.
Yeah.
She finally
Let's get
settles
it
on
on.
She finally settles on a fucking shovel.
A shovel. Yeah. Because
Yeah.
what
really-
she says is, to kill them, you have to make them lose enough blood in one strike, essentially.
Yeah, you have to exsanguinate these motherfuckers. So yeah, and she's like, "All right, time to go." And she goes, and but as she turns around, she just sees the door being like turbo locked. She's like, "What the hell?" And she goes to try and pry. Yeah, she tries to pry it open
We'll
with a
see
shovel,
what they
but
use
the
to lock
thing's
that
climbing
door.
up on the fucking ceiling already.
When do we
we-
get
we
the
need
other
to-
scene?
Yeah, we need to talk about a scene that's happening sort of in between all of this, where hey, do you guys remember the prostitute conference? Yeah, well, the tall lady there
Yes.
is
was
running
there.
a bar, and her patrons are asking for drinks and stuff, but she's just sort of staring into the middle district, and they're just like, "Hey, mama, can I get another beer?" You know. Which is always that's been the most interesting trend. Is it seems universal in Japan that you call the bartender lady mama.
Yeah.
But yeah, she drops
Feed
off
me
one and then just
alcohol,
goes
mommy.
outside. And in a real 1,000-yard stare moment and just looks down at a bunch of newspapers piled up by the back door and uncorks a bottle of vodka over them. And just starts pouring.
And then lights it on fire.
And then lights it on fire. And walks off down the alleyway. And her hair cloth comes untied. And oh shit, she is a monster.
Yep.
Big time.
And yeah, we get confirmation from David in a Jeep. It's just like shit, there's 3 of them. Fuck.
Uh-huh.
This one's heading to the base as well, and it's like, oh, they're like a whole clan of them.
Yes.
And now this one knows because I killed Linda.
Mhm.
So she's coming to help out her sister.
Yeah.
So yeah, we get some scenes of that. Later we get a scene of David like keeping them updated as that one just walks towards the base, and he's just plugging it away at it with a 1911, and he's on a walkie-talkie. It's just like, yeah, it's coming in. Yeah, we gotta find Saya.
Mm-hmm.
All right, fine. Let's get too close, and he just turns around and legs it. And he clearly has a replacement sword for her too.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, cutting back to the motor pool hangar, she one of them is fully on the roof, and it's decided to come through the glass windows at the top. I don't know why they have these things. It seems like the only reason to have these things is so that monsters or criminals could crash through them.
Yes. In a movie. Yes.
But anyway, yeah, they're pretty fucked because Saya's got a shovel and a shell-shocked nurse. And yeah, she attacks it with the shovel, but it's clearly not enough, even though it does bite in. And she's thrown aside, and the nurse just lights him the fuck up with the gun, with the service pistol that she was handed.
Mm-hmm.
Even though Saya's just like, wait, don't shoot. And it's just like, yeah, you're gonna light up the petrol can strapped to these Jeeps.
Gonna literally light it up in here.
Yeah.
The fire does seem to do a number on the chiropteran. I'll tell you that.
Didn't like it.
Mhm.
Didn't like it.
He's down for she down for the count for a while. Yeah, that's when we cut into the shit that was happening with David, because the other one has arrived and is interested in coming in. David runs up to the door of the motor pool to get them out because he's been firing on it the whole time, and Saya knows, and she's like, David, get me out of this! This building is on fire!
Mm-hmm.
And we discover why the door is blocked, and it's because Steve Bloom is shoved in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's
That
like wrapped
was
up
the
like a
only
knot.
scene that I
Like a
reacted
little human
to
rope.
like out loud while I was watching, because it cut to that and I just went like, Jesus Christ.
Ew.
Ugh, fucking Lord. I was just like,
God damn.
well, that, you know what? That'll close the door. Because it's one of
Yeah.
those it's one of those big those doors with the big loops on it that's clearly to be for using it to bar stuff. And yeah, Steve gets to be the bar.
It's the bar. He's in there.
Mhm.
We cut back inside. Saya's wrestling with the now recovered chiropteran, and let's see, what, I keep forgetting her name.
The nurse.
Makio is not doing great. She's just like, I can't take this anymore. I can't. And she's thinking about shooting herself. And Saya's just like, wait, don't give up. Get in that Jeep and ram the doors.
Yep.
She's
And
like,
she's
oh
like,
yeah,
"Oh,
I can
yeah."
do that.
So she does that.
What is not shown is what happens to Steve when this happens.
He doesn't make it. He
Listen.
already didn't make it. Like,
Listen, it's not like he cares what happens, but there's gonna be a mess.
it's not
Yeah.
gonna be pretty.
But yeah, she blows the doors open, runs it into a chain link fence, and falls out unconscious.
Hmm.
And David is just like, "Oh shit, cool, doors open." And as he's coming in, the thing is coming down on her, and she's just like, "David, sword!" And we get the cool scene.
I love that moment.
Man throws sword,
Mhm.
and she
He throws the sword.
smoothly bisects.
Mhm.
Yeah, smoothly bisects the monster with it. Yeah, and
moment she
yay,
hits
we
it.
got to see a bisection.
Woohoo! We're back
Woo!
down to 0 episodes before.
Mission,
Yeah.
mission accomplished.
We did it.
Um, but yeah,
Mhm.
she comes in, she comes out, and David's just like, "Are you okay?" It's just like, we don't have time for that shit. Look at it; it's getting ready to fly.
Oh,
Because
this scene is great.
yeah, the other one up there is just like, this is shit. Time to get out of here. And it is doing an American Werewolf in London like transformation scene up there.
Yeah, its arms
Yes.
are
Where-
turning into big old wings.
Where it's elongating and its fingers are becoming much longer, and the patagia is coming out. And I'm just like, this is gross.
Great. I love it.
Yeah, so they hop in the Jeep and try and pursue it because it looks like it's going towards the airfield. We get a scene where Lewis gets to come back because David is talking to him. It's just like, hey, we need you to get to that lady who saw the monster before the cops do, or this is gonna be a big headache.
Yeah.
And they finally chase down the thing as it flies low, trying to grab onto the wing of a B-52.
Doesn't make it.
And David drives close so that Saya could slice its wing off.
Mm-hmm.
A B-52, which I assume was heading to Vietnam,
Yes.
but which
that is the
which is
information, I believe.
they're right.
Heading
That
to
would
the
have been a big
bloodshed.
fucking problem.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
But yeah, they're parked there for a while. Saya rocks up on the disabled creature and just feeds it a drop of her blood.
It's like a really interesting character moment, I think, because like
Yeah, but it's
we're-
like
they've been
she's. I want you to
dropping
imagine
the
it.
hints the whole time about her
What does it mean?
vampirism.
What does it
So
mean?
I want you to imagine this for yourself: is that you come upon like
Mhm.
a critically wounded animal in the wild. That's the same feeling.
yes.
Yeah.
Like, you're not gonna make it. That's a shame.
hmm
And then that's the last time we see her because it's time to clean up. And the rest of the time we spend with the nurse because she's trying to sort out what the fuck any of this meant.
Yeah.
Do we come in on the interview? It's the interview
Yes, it's the interview.
where she's talking to she's being debriefed by some Air Force personnel,
The debrief.
and they all seem very incredulous until she mentions David, and they look at each other and they're just like, "I'm sorry, miss, but nobody under that nobody that fits that description works here. Hey, did that girl you saw look like this?" And he hands her a photo from 1894.
92, I believe.
1892.
Yeah.
That says
It-
vampire in the corner, which is the bluntest this movie gets. But
Yeah.
Yeah.
like the photo is a great moment that's completely ruined by
Yeah.
that
They
text.
could have taken the word vampire off. I guess they thought that people might not get it, I suppose.
Come on, man! If you're gonna ape the moment from The Shining where you see Jack Nicholson in the old photo, then just do it. Don't be a coward.
Vampire.
But yeah, we spend the last moments of the movie with her trying to put things together because she's just like, there's no evidence of this. The only hint that it ever happened is that 2 students are listed as moving away. These-
Wait, but doesn't she also get jump scared in the
She gets
hospital?
jump scared trying to come into back into the nurse's office because she thinks she sees Saya there again, but she's not there.
No.
It's just like the first time, and she sits down and listens to the radio talk about how about after an offensive, we're going to send more B-52s to Vietnam.
Mhm. Yes.
The movie ends.
Felt like sequel bait.
Maybe a little. It was supposed. Apparently, this property was supposed to come in like 3 parts.
Interesting.
It was supposed to come in the form of a movie and a couple of light novels and a pair of video games. But the plots don't actually intersect once they started making the rest of it.
I see.
I see.
The old oopsie, we did it wrong.
Oh dear.
Oopsie, we changed our minds
Yeah.
about the story direction.
Honestly, this whole show, this whole movie. First of all, it was like a short movie. Like it was only 45
Yeah, it was only like
minutes long.
45 minutes.
But this movie felt like I don't know, like what was it? Blood the Last Vampire the movie? Like it was already an existing. It felt like I was watching the movie of a existing anime.
Which is really interesting because Production
It's not.
IG wanted to make this as an original property that wasn't
Mhm.
adapted for anything.
Right.
Yeah.
So they pitched concepts for it for a while.
Mm-hmm.
The only thing I can see that actually continues the story of this like directly is the manga they made.
Yes, the manga does apparently like
Like the
what-
continuing
like,
adventures
6
of
years later
Saya.
or something. Yeah.
But yeah, what do we think about this movie? I've already mentioned the kind of stilted voice acting.
And I know you said you've seen it before, which I think is interesting. So
Yeah, I brought it. That's the only reason I would have known about it, and it's a mysterious film.
uh-huh.
I
Is
saw it
this-
on television somewhere. I'm not sure where.
I was gonna say, is this one you had fond memories of at all?
I had like, okay, so the memories that I had of this were so fuzzy and dreamlike that I was just like, you know what I should
Can I
bring to the
imagine
podcast one day.
I love that.
Because this was a movie I had to have watched at like 2:00 in the morning on
Right.
like
On Adult
satellite
Swim,
TV.
probably. I had a fun time watching this. I liked the imagery. Some of the characters were like ugly, but like I almost think complimentary.
ugly, positive.
Uh-huh.
I really like the art for this movie. It has like it has like an old, it has an old anime feel that's always very nice.
Also, they had
Um,
stuck with like a
Mhm.
very desaturated color palette, which I thought
Mhm.
was nice to look at.
Yeah, it reminded me a lot of Paranoia Agent in the way that it like looked.
Mhm. Parts of it
I
remind me
think-
of Helsing.
Yeah, that too.
Mm-hmm.
I think it would be possible to watch this and have a little bit of a problem with the way that the black guy on the military base looks.
Yeah.
Well,
but-
I was gonna mention that because, and hear me out. These are some of the best depictions I've seen of black guys in anime because anime is so fucking bad about it.
I don't think that. I don't know. I think that Lewis looked good. I think Lewis
Mhm.
looked really good, and I think that the guy who was on the base was like he looked fine, but there was just I could see watching this and being like, oh,
I was like, that's questionable.
He looked
Right.
like he
but
looked like the
especially
dad from Family Matters or whatever that was.
he did. He also looked a bit like Uncle Ruckus
Oh no!
Uh-oh.
from the Boondocks.
There was also a split second of a guy in the army band playing a saxophone.
Mm.
yes, yeah.
So
But yeah, I think that overall, I really enjoyed the art direction. I really enjoyed the story. Like I said earlier, the only thing that really took me out of it was just that some of the English voice acting was like,
Yeah.
whoa, like this, like that thing that I said the other week about like they just grabbed whoever was at the bus stop. Like
mhm.
Sure.
there was a lot of that, and then it was
Yeah.
like it. I actually got like double upset when Steve Bloom showed up and he was a character with 2 lines because I was like,
know.
you guys,
could've
Steve
been-
was there. Like
could've
you
been
could
the
have.
main He could have been our David or whatever.
Steve is a professional.
Easily.
Exactly.
I was thinking that during the first conversation between the three of them, Lewis, David, and Saya, which is
Mhm.
all of those characters' voice performances are not good, but I'm looking at the animation quality. I'm just like, this should have been great. Because
Right.
just like how visibly angry like David is about it, it's like, hey, don't piss her off.
Right.
Saya
Yeah.
especially is a real disappointment, I guess. She almost never speaks, which is fine. But when she does speak, she's so like, I don't know. She seems like tired.
She's very stilted. I think that to me, it definitely read like especially compared to the lady who voiced the nurse. It definitely seemed like the lady who voiced Saya was not as not as comfortable speaking English.
Yeah.
Like I don't think that she sounded bad, but I definitely think that there was like, it sounded like she was having trouble acting through the language.
Yes. Like she's
Um,
focused on saying all the words correctly.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Kind of like when like you see like an American actor do a British accent and they're doing like so bad that they're like not acting. You
Right.
know what I mean?
But yeah, I'd have to say that the English dubbing in this film probably the weakest point, but everything else is so good.
Yeah, for me, it's not. It doesn't like ruin the movie. Really, it's just kind of a little distraction sometimes.
The monsters are great.
The monsters are
They're
so
like really
good.
fucked up, and they all have like orange eyes that are so bright you can't actually even see them.
The
So they look
title
like-
was true. They did deliver on the blood part. There was a
Yeah,
lot
there
of
was
blood.
there was
They
some
did.
blood.
They did. This was the anime of all the blood.
There was a lot of it in there.
Anyway, would you guys watch more of this?
I would. Okay, here's the thing. I would.
I think you
consider-
both can and cannot do.
I would consider this a sort of a maybe if you're interested, see what you think about Blood Plus. And after seeing this, I think I would go see what Blood Plus is like. I know it's
Joey,
not the same. I know.
I was
listen.
actually about to say the exact same thing. I was like, maybe this made me think maybe I'll go back and finish Blood Plus.
Again, I know it's not the same thing, but I would check it out.
Anyway, if you know what the fake bodies thing was about, please tell us at the one episode cast at gmail.com.
That's the word, not the number. You can tell us about watching Blood Plus. You can send us a little tweet on Twitter. We're at One Episode Cast. We're also on Blue Sky under the same name.
Send us a sky at Blue
Send
Sky.
Send us the sky.
Is that what they're? I don't know.
Please,
You could just say that. and
Almost
I would
certainly not.
believe you.
please tell me what the fake bodies thing meant.
What are they?
If you recognize the bodies in the water, hit us up on Blue Sky.
Don't.
You know what it could have been? Okay, this is my cracked theory.
Okay.
I think that it was a slight fuck up in the English language portions of the film. I think they meant to say we've placed a fake body,
Oh,
Maybe.
I feel like that makes sense.
because that would make sense if like the CIA was trying to cover this shit up.
I could
Also,
see that.
that leads into something that I hadn't really talked about, but everything in this movie, the shit about the about the Air Force base and all that is a metaphor for fucking Yokota Air Force Base, like sucking the life out of the local area
Yeah.
and monopolizing its business. And B, it suggests that Chiropterans are an American problem. That they have exported to other countries by accident.
I think
They
so.
are. That's true.
Which is crazy.
Yeah, I think so for sure.
They could be. Maybe Americans made them.
Fucking
Maybe the American government is the only one that was not immediately like, let's get rid of the vampires. They're like, yeah, whatever. It's only killing poor people.
maybe we can use them. You know what? I mean, it's just another export from fucking Santa Clara, California.
Mhm.
You know what I always say? It's a nice town except for all these fucking vampires.